at creating the JUnit test. So last video we saw how to install JDK, how to install the IntelliJ IDE, how to set up Java path and run a simple program. Now in this video, let's see how to get JUnit in this project and write a small test. Okay, first let's write a function here which we will test with JUnit. Okay, so the first one will be the function will be public uh, int. Let's say our function returns an integer and let's call it add method. Okay, so this is an addition method and the method is suppose addition function, so it's supposed to take in two parameters, one first integer and then second integer, and it is supposed to, since we have the return type as int, supposed to return the sum of the two variables 1 and 2, and that will be another integer because those two are integers, right? Okay, so yeah, as you can see, one and let's say name it 2, that will be better name. Okay, so it's a public function, it has an int return type, its name is add method, it takes in two parameters, one integer and two integer, and it adds the two numbers and returns. So whoever is going to call this function will get we'll have to pass two variables into it and we'll get one variable back. Okay, so this is a function. If you want to run this simply, you can since it's in the same main program, you can just call it with the name of the function. Add method and type in 2, 6. Okay, sorry, it has to be static. I was wondering why it was not coming up, because this main program is a static program because it's a basic main program, and then the functions, these two functions are static functions. So if you want to call if you want to have call some another function from me, it has to be static. So this is a static function and I'm calling that from here. We are not using any object names since it's a static class, because there is all the class which has static function will be by default a static class. So these are two static functions and this is a static class. So if you want to call this one, you just have to give the function name. Just calling with two variables, these two variables come over here, it adds it and returns the value. So here if I just run it here, it won't print anything because we are not asking it to print. Well, let's print it. I will just cut this and I will write another s out, enter, I'll paste it in there. Now I should have it printed here. Okay, so you can see 8 over here. So now this is a main program and it's getting calling a function and printing it. Now let's write a test for this. How you write a test? This is very important because every automation framework needs some unit test runners. We are trying to understand one of the unit test runner, that is JUnit. So this is a very basic of creating a framework. So it's good that you get this clear. So let's create a new test class. It's nothing but another class, but we are going to write test annotations there. Test addition. Let's call it as arithmetic. Okay. So arithmetic, because these are arithmetic functions, right? So we have the test method. Now let's write the test function. Public void test add. Okay, this function is supposed to add the test the add method which is inside the main program, this method. So and okay, so we have public void test method, right? So how will we tell Java that this is a JUnit test? So to tell Java that this is a JUnit test, you have to add something called annotation. Annotation is a text which will tell Java that this is a test method. So annotation is written by putting @ first and then type in test. So if you see it's in red, it means that Java doesn't know what test is. So if you click over here, it says that you can add this JUnit. So it knows, IntelliJ kind of knows that this annotation at test is something that's inside JUnit. So it's asking us, should we add it to the class path? Class path is part of this project. You can either select the latest one, JUnit 5, that is JUnit Jupyter, or the old one, JUnit 4. Either of them you can select. Let's select the latest one, and if you click on it, automatically it will just get it here. So once it's there, so now it also imports that package, and you can see like it says it's JUnit. So right now Java knows that this function is a test method because there is this annotation at the top, and all you have to do is call the function which is inside the main program by using the class name, because it's a static class. And if you just type in the class name, put a dot, automatically give you all the functions at it. You have a main function, you have an add method. You can use an add method and pass in the two variables, let's say 2 5,5. So if you do over here again, it will not do anything because we're just getting it. It will call that and it will return it. But let's okay, let's do this. Let's again print out whatever is there, whatever it's gonna return. So instead of calling using the main function, we are just going to run this test method. So you can see over here there is a run test icon. Just click on this, run this test. So all it's doing is calling the main function and calling that method, calling the main class and calling the method inside it, passing two variables. It will add it and it will return the value, that is 10, and we are just using system, passing it to the system out function, and we'll just print it. So now it's not a test yet, right? Because we are not testing anything. So to make it a test, we use something called assert. So the JUnit package provide you assertion classes. Second, another static class. Select assertion, put in dot, select assert equals. So you can see this, when you put a dot over here, it will give you all the functions, and one function is assert equals. It checks whether two values are equal, expected and actual are equal. So you can just select that, and so we know that this is the execute runtime value, right? That is the actual, and as we know what is going to be the result, we can put in as that as the first parameter, that is 10. So we are going to ask Java to check, JUnit to check whether whatever is going to be returned by this function is exactly what we are expecting. So that's the test, right? We know that this function is going to return the function over here. Click on control and press on or command and press on this method. It will take you to the main method. So in the main class you have the add method, and it's taking two values and returning 2, right? Return the add sum. So we are going to check whether this summation is working fine. But the way we can check it is we pass in two values, and we somehow calculate what is going to be the expected result, and then call the function and get the result and compare it with our expected result. That's what we are doing in the assertion method. Now we just again run this. We can see it ran it, and it's saying that it's pass. You can see this. So this is the window for running the test. So let's write one more test over here, and let's make it a negative test. Negative. Okay, so it's going to check whether if I'm expecting a different value, it should fail this test. Then only we know that everything is fine, right? So now if I want to run this, I will, by clicking over here on top of the class, it will run all the two programs. We run this. So we are expecting one to fall and one to pass and one to fail, because here is right, here the expectation is wrong. It's 2, but actual result will be 5. You can see over here there are two functions running. First function is all pass, second function gives you proper error and gives you what is the expected, what is actual. So that is basically what JUnit is all about, in a very basic nature, very basic test. In the further videos we will see more JUnit features and slowly into the Selenium automation, okay, to start with. Thank you.